Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really kind of charming story, actually.
Oh, yeah. What's it about?
It starts with these two students, Kesser and Steen, from a Nature and Innovation class.
Okay. Nature and innovation. Sounds interesting.
Right. And they're just walking home from school, watching butterflies, as you do.
Just observing.
But they're really observing, stopping, figuring out the species, what plants they like.
Ah, so quite focused. I like that. It's not just a glance.
Exactly. And they apparently have this idea that knowing the name gives you more respect for it.
Right.
For the butterfly.
That's a nice philosophy. And it ties into, well, understanding things.
It does. They even think about the purpose of weeds before deciding they're, unwanted. Understanding before discarding.
That's surprisingly deep for a walk home from school.
Well, it sets the scene.
Yeah.
Because then their attention shifts. They find some litter.
Ah, the inevitable downside.
Yeah. An abandoned lunchbox. And Steen apparently gets pretty worked up about finding a banana in a plastic bag inside.
Can't blame him. It is frustrating.
Totally.
What?
And the script mentions this thing about bananas in Denmark, how people chuck them out as soon as they get brown spots.
Right. That perception of perfect ripeness. It mentions tannins, too, doesn't it? In the green ones.
Yeah. Like a possible defense mechanism for the banana plant itself, which is kind of neat.
It is a cool biological detail. But yeah, Steen's upset about this slightly brown, discarded banana.
But Kesser, he doesn't just leave it there. He picks it up. The banana. The bag.
Okay, so he's cleaning up. Good on him.
Well, yes, but it's what he decides to do with it.
Yeah.
Steen makes some joke about, like, making banana bread.
Yeah. The obvious use for an old banana.
Right. But Kesser's idea is, well, different. He says it's for a butterfly buffet.
Oh, what now? A butterfly buffet using the old banana.
Exactly. He connects the discarded banana directly to the butterflies they've been watching.
Wow, okay. That's inventive. Taking litter and seeing, well, potential food for wildlife.
And it wasn't just a random idea. He'd apparently read in books about what butterflies might eat besides nectar.
So he had some background knowledge, or at least knew where to look. That's impressive.
Yeah, initiative. And Steen apparently gets super excited then.
Oh, he comes around to the idea?
Totally. Compares it to a bird feeder, starts thinking about getting photos of an aurora butterfly for researchers, the whole thing.
So the idea catches on fast. From litter to citizen science potential.
Pretty much. And they figure they could use more than just the banana. They had a party recently, apparently.
Okay.
So, leftover wine from the celebration. Kitchen scraps, basically.
Leftover wine and an old banana for butterflies. Huh.
Sounds weird, but that's the plan. Using what they have. Giving those after-party scraps a new life.
Definitely more appealing than some other options Steen apparently considered. There's a mention of manure.
Oh, yeah, and some story about a shrew in a freezer. Sounds like they're adventurous experimenters.
Adventurous is one word for it. Okay, so this brings us to the core idea then. What actually makes a good butterfly buffet, based on what they found out, using these, let's say, unconventional ingredients?
Well, the sources point towards sweet things, obviously, but also fermented things.
Ah, fermented. Okay, that makes sense of the overripe banana and the leftover wine then. It's not just sugar, it's that broken down, slightly boozy quality.
Exactly. The fermentation creates compounds that are, really attractive to them.
Interesting. So how would you replicate that, besides leaving wine out?
Well, the source suggests simple stuff, too, like syrup or sugar water on a sponge left out in the sun.
The warmth helping release the smell, maybe.
Probably. And some butterflies apparently go for leftover beer or cider, too. A little pub crawl for insects.
Okay, and what about solids? Besides the banana?
Right. They plan to use other fruit from those after-party scraps, too. Like overripe organic orange slices, bits of melon, pears.
The whole fruit platter.
Basically. And even just putting sugar or honey on a stone or a bit of wood nearby. Simple feeding spots.
So offering variety makes sense. Different species might like different things.
And it's not just about the food itself, but also attracting them to the area. They thought about plants.
Fragrant plants.
Yeah, like lavender, thyme, oregano. Good smells draws them in without, relying only on the smell of fermenting fruit, which might not be pleasant for everyone nearby.
Good point. So it's about understanding the why. Why are they drawn to this fermented sugar stuff?
It mimics nature, doesn't it? Fallen fruit that started to ferment on the ground. It's a natural signal for an energy source.
Ah, okay. So they're hacking into the butterfly's natural instincts. Clever.
And the timing could be good, too. Using those after-party scraps, those sources say late summer, early autumn is prime time for this.
Why then specifically?
Well, butterflies need energy then, right? For migration or getting ready to hibernate or laying eggs.
Ah, bulking up. Makes sense.
But it could also work in really hot, dry weather when maybe flowers and nectar are scarce.
So it's like a supplementary feeding station during tough times. A really valuable resource, potentially.
Exactly. And there's this other idea mentioned, a microbrew.
A microbrew. For butterflies.
Sort of, using leaves and sugar water, letting it ferment to release scents, like a long-lasting air freshener to attract them.
That's quite elaborate. But you'd need to keep it going, I guess.
Yeah, refresh it now and then so it stays, appealing.
Okay. But hang on. Won't all this sweet fermenting stuff attract other things, like things you maybe don't want swarming your garden?
That's a really good point. And yeah, the text brings it up. Bees, wasps.
Yeah.
They'd likely be interested too.
So placement might be important. Maybe put it somewhere a bit out of the way.
Could be. It's all part of the experiment, figuring that out.
Yeah.
Understanding the whole little ecosystem there.
True. And it sounds like Kesser and Steen are planning to document their experiment too.
Yeah. They want to set up a wildlife camera.
Oh, brilliant. To see who actually visits the buffet.
Exactly. Steen apparently has this funny image of a badger doing acrobatics to get the banana if they hang it in a tree.
Ah. You probably wouldn't get butterflies then, but you might get some entertaining badger footage.
You might. Or, as the text suggests, leaving the camera running, keeping the buffet stocked with those finds and scraps, you could end up with a whole catalog of nighttime visitors.
Moths, other nocturnal insects, maybe even small mammals curious about the smells.
It's just really neat, isn't it, how this whole thing started from just, noticing butterflies, finding some trash, and having this spark of curiosity.
It really is. Taking something discarded, like that banana or the party leftovers, and seeing it not as waste, but as a resource, a way to connect with nature right there.
Makes you think, doesn't it, about what else we might overlook. What other waste could be repurposed if we just looked at it a bit differently with that kind of curious mindset.
Definitely. Maybe we could all try setting up our own slightly less experimental butterfly buffets this summer, see who shows up.
Worth a try.